I've met a handful of well-known people working night shifts in a Lowe's Angels Children's Oncology unit, but there's one night I'll never forget, mostly because I pretended not to recognize the man sitting alone in our waiting room at 2 a.m. It had already been a brutal shift. We'd lost one of our long-term patients earlier that evening, a little girl named Naomi, only 7, who had fought leukemia for most of her short life. I had held her mother upright as she screamed, and by the time midnight came, I felt completely drained. So when I turned the corner and saw a man sitting quietly in the dim waiting room, head down, hands clasped, I almost assumed he was another grieving parent. But when he looked up, I recognized him instantly. Johnny Depp. No security, no cameras, just a man in jeans and a worn black jacket looking exhausted and worried. I kept my professional face on. "Sir, can I help you?" I asked like he was just another visitor. He explained that he'd come to see a boy named Theo, one of our patients, who had written him a letter through a charity months ago. Johnny had only received it the day before and rushed over without realizing it was long past visiting hours. I told him hospital rules technically didn't allow anyone in this late, but when he said, "I don't want to disturb anyone," I just didn't want to miss my chance to meet him. Something in his voice made my chest tight. The truth was, Theo wasn't doing well. We didn't know how much time he had left. And Theo talked about Captain Jack Sparrow more than he talked about anything else. "Come with me," I whispered. 10 minutes, no photos, and if anyone asks, you're his uncle. I led him down the quiet hallway, praying another nurse wouldn't catch us. Theo was asleep when we walked in, tiny, pale, buried in tubes, with walls covered in part posters. Johnny stopped in the doorway and I watched his whole expression change. He wasn't a celebrity then, he was just a human being trying not to break down. He sat beside the bed and lightly touched Theo's hand. Theo blinked awake, confused, then his whole face lit up. "You're real," he whispered. Johnny slipped immediately into his Captain Jack voice. "Of course I'm real, lad, just had a bit of trouble navigating the seas tonight." Theo laughed, really laughed for the first time in weeks. I stepped outside to give them space and kept watch like some kind of lookout. 10 minutes passed, 20, an hour. No part of me had the heart to interrupt. When it was finally time to usher him out, Johnny thanked me quietly. "You gave him something no treatment could," I said. "I think he gave me something too," he replied, voice thick. 3 days later, during regular hours, he returned, this time in full costume, and brought several cast members with him. They turned our entire floor into a pirate adventure. Kids who hadn't smiled in months were shouting pirate phrases at the top of their lungs. What no one else knew was that Theo had declined badly the morning after Johnny's secret visit. Doctors weren't sure he'd make it through the week, but after that night something shifted. He started responding to treatment again, slowly, then steadily. The medical team called it unbelievable. 6 months later, I got a package at the hospital, a handwritten note from Johnny and a donation check for our pediatric cancer research fund. A huge check, the note read, "For Theo and for every brave child fighting monsters bigger than the ones I pretend to fight." Theo went into remission a few months after that. He's 13 now, taller, louder, healthier than any of us could have imagined, and still proudly calls himself a pirate who survived. I never told management what I did that night. Johnny never brought it up during his official visits either. Some moments are more meaningful when they stay quiet, tucked away between the people who live them. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is act like you don't recognize them at all.